I received a new whiskey delivery this week, and one of the bottles is a massive favorite of mine, and I can't wait to share it with you. Let's do this. Hi, welcome to Whisky Riffs. I'm Kevin, and during these times of pandemic and quarantine, you have to embrace and enjoy the little things in life. And one of the little pick-me-ups that came this week was a delivery of one of my favorite whiskeys, and that is the Aberlour A'bunadh. And I'm going to share it with you today and try to describe why I love it, and hopefully convince you to at least try it and tell me about the fact that you love it too. Now, I'm not saying that everyone has to love Aberlour A'bunadh. This is just a flavor profile that kind of ticks all the boxes for me. I tend to lean towards the peaty, smoky whiskeys, as you know, and more the cask-strength whiskeys, or sometimes the sherry bomb whiskeys if they're done right. And this one is a sherry bomb and it's a cask-strength whiskey. And it just, for some reason, the way that the aging was done for this one, it just hits me right. And well, let me go through it in the tasting, and we'll see if we can figure out that why this one is one of my favorites. Again, what flavors you like in whiskey is so personal. And the good thing is that there's thousands of different types of whiskey out there. There's so many different flavors. You can pick whatever you want and find whatever you want. Aberlour is a Speyside distillery, and I reviewed the Aberlour 12 in episode 10. I'll put a link in the comments below so you can take a look at that if you haven't seen it yet. The difference between Aberlour 10 and Aberlour A'bunadh is that the 10 is double cask, so it starts off in ex-bourbon casks and then is finished in sherry casks, where the A'bunadh is matured completely in Spanish Oloroso sherry casks. So this has kind of the flavors elevated times 10. If you like what's in normal sherry cask finished whiskeys, this one gives you even more of that and has a lot of richness to it because of that maturation process. A'bunadh is Gaelic for of the origin, and this particular expression is a kind of an homage to the founder, James Fleming. This is a non-chill filtered whiskey, which to me earns it big points. And it is at its cask strength, bottled at 59.5% or 119 proof, which means that there's really no reason to chill filter. Chill filtering is generally for the whiskeys that are in the 40 to 44, 45% range, where they might get a little cloudy if you put them in ice or add water to them. So this is really blowing way past that. The alcohol level will keep the cloudiness away, and I appreciate that they don't chill filter it. I bought at least a couple bottles of A'bunadh before this one, and this is batch 65. My previous bottle was batch 62, and I think it was a little higher alcohol by volume, closer to 120 proof. Not much difference, but there is a subtle difference when you start saying cask strength, when you start grabbing different batches. You will see slight differences in flavor profiles. They try to keep them as on target as possible, but there will be nuances. So if you find a batch that you like, you probably want to try to grab another bottle of that batch before they become unavailable. I've seen batch 65 out there still. So if you do like Aberlour A'bunadh, you can get this batch probably. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tasting. Oh, wow. I love the nose on this one. The sherry comes out and it's very oily and rich even on the nose. I get a little nice spice on the nose. Kind of a clove spice. And oranges, almost like a mixture of cloves and oranges. It's very sweet smelling, but not overly perfumey. It's more of the sherry sweet. The taste is immediately going to impact you with a bit of alcohol burn because we are at almost 120 proof. The sherry, though, comes right in after that. So if you're tasting something like this that is high proof but has a ton of other flavors in it, you'll want to take a moment, get that first taste in, and then try a second taste to go for the other flavors that are in there. Lots of dark fruits. That cherry finish is just beautiful. Dark cherries, maybe some plum flavor in there. If I let it sit, like a little bit of ginger, dark chocolate. The finish is really long. The finish gives me the sherry and a little bit of that spiciness. Even the dark chocolate sits on the back of my tongue as I'm lingering on the finish. And it's very oily and very robust and very full. So there's an awful lot to sit with after you drink it. I think that's one of the reasons I like this so much. I can have a sip and kind of enjoy and taste the whiskey for several minutes after that one sip. I don't have to chug a glass just to keep enjoying the flavor. They did a great job of casking this at such a high proof and yet not overpowering you with that alcohol. The sherry just smooths that right out. And I don't know the age of this whiskey. It's a non-age statement whiskey. I don't believe they say it on here at all. No, there's no age. And I don't think I saw anything about age statement on the website either. So it is, who knows? Who knows? Doesn't matter though. As we've talked about before, the age of a whiskey is not going to give you a better or worse whiskey. Certainly if you age a whiskey more, you're going to get more effects of the wood. You're going to get more effect of the time that the spirit has moved in and out of the wood grain, and some of the bright and sharp edges will get rounded off as a whiskey sits longer and longer, and a bit more of the angel share gets dissipated into the air. So this could be any age. I guess my point is, don't get rid of a whiskey on your list because there's no age statement. and don't jump at the 25 year or the 30 year just because you think it's going to be so much better. If you like whiskeys that are more rounded and mellow, an older whiskey might give you that. Now, because we're at 119 proof, this can certainly take water. So we'll go ahead and add some water to this glass that I have poured, and we'll see what we can get out of the flavor changes. I might go ahead and do a couple water adds because we have such a nice high proof level. We can definitely get more out of it if we play with the alcohol percentage. Now, I had to take a taste before I gave any nosing notes because I wasn't really sensing or smelling anything that was very different. On the taste, though, the alcohol burn is a little less, which is also because I've had a few sips. I think we've ramped up the ginger and some of the spiciness in this with the additional water. Let's go ahead and add some more. See how much this can take. It's a pretty generous pour. It's not as generous as I probably will do later once I am editing this and dip into it a couple more times. I mean, you have to have something to do while you're editing, right? You know, probably making the video better by enjoying the whiskey that you're talking about in the video. It's a concept I'm working with. I'm going to go with that today because I really love this whiskey. Handles water really well. You have a lot of room to play with this one. All the flavors that you get when it's full cask strength are still there. It doesn't get overly spicy. It doesn't get overly sharp by adding water. I think the sherry is such a predominant flavor that you end up just enjoying all the different flavors still, and I don't think anything's really changing that much with water, which can be a good thing. I mean, basically what you're doing is you're giving yourself more whiskey if you add a little bit of water to it. It gets creamier. That finish is still just as long, but kind of that oiliness on the tongue turns into a creamy finish that's so rich. The price for Aberlour A'bunadh is going to be a little higher than some of the other scotches out there because it is a cask strength whiskey. So you're always going to pay a little bit more. If they're selling whiskey at 43% or 40%, they're making a lot more money by shipping more bottles. If they're shipping at 59 or 60%, suddenly they have a lot fewer bottles they can sell, so they're going to be a little more pricey. But I think it's worth it because you get to play with more flavors than you would if it's at the minimum percentage level at 40% or even 43. So I paid $91 for this. I saw it as low as $80 online, but $80 plus shipping costs, because I'm not running out to a store to pick it up, means I would actually pay more than $91. So the $91 one was a good price for me, and I just got this. It's all in research. It was all research for the video. Wow. Yeah, so anyway, if you find this anywhere from $80 to $90, $100, I still think it's a good purchase. I love this whiskey. If you're a fan of sherried whiskeys, you really need to try this. If you have a friend that has it, great place to go try it first. But if you feel like being adventurous and investing in a bottle of sherry cask whiskey, go for the A'bunadh. It's a beautiful whiskey. Speaking of ordering whiskeys, have you increased your alcohol deliveries, alcohol purchases during this quarantine time? I actually haven't. Now I have the advantage of having a lot of bottles of whiskey here, but I felt like it hasn't been a time of increased alcohol consumption for me. It's been more of a time of reflection. Like, what do I really like? What do I enjoy? And why do I enjoy specific whiskeys? So for me, I've actually lessened my alcohol deliveries. But let me know in the comments what you're up to during this time of isolation, of quarantine. What your purchases are. As always, if you're enjoying these videos, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and bang that bell so you get notified of every new episode. Please take care of yourself, stay home, and stay safe. Remember, we're all in this together, so share a few kind words with friends and relatives, and reach out to people to see how they're doing. I'm going to raise this glass to you and to your good health and to a quick finish to this pandemic. Cheers. A sherry casking like this will also give you that ability to have a more rounded taste and or more mellow and a more rounded taste. I'm too excited about this whiskey, I guess. Okay. I think we're good.